Kings and Queens, Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for returning. Trust you and yours are well, and you're loving yourself. And just like always, many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you, my esteemed subscribers. You're loved, celebrated, and of course, appreciated. Did we remember when America were, boastfully saying that they were behind the coup d'etat in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, in Guinea? Anyway, that of Guinea, I'm not surprised, because even up until now, we are seeing what is going on there. Anyway, these three countries, the Sahel, these three countries is the one I just wanted to talk about, because when they were boastfully saying that they were behind the coup, just the initial time when these coups were just so hot in the continent, they wanted us to believe that they were the ones that is, behind taking over leadership of the democratic leaders that were in these three countries in the Sahel. And now they had washed their hand off, and they are not going around telling people that they are behind the coup anymore, because everybody can now see, it's the strategy. There was something they wanted to do at that point when this was so hot. They believed that they would be able to control these men and keep using them. So when all this was happening, they wanted to also still show to the world that they are powerful. Remember, they were in charge of a lot of happenings in the whole world. So they wanted to, validate their being present and involving in other people's affairs. And they came out and told us through the same general that was sent to the Sahel, Michael Langley. He came out and said that they were the ones behind it. I think I talked about this initially when I began talking about the Sahel in 2022. I talked about this here. I want us to listen to this clip real quick, and I will take it up from there.
So, just ballpark, in the last decade, how many Africans has the United States military trained and equipped?
Congressman, I don't have that figure. I can get that figure for you.
Ballpark, just, how many?
Congressman, it would be a wild guess right now.
Seems like something we should know, right?
Over the years, we have trained a substantial number, especially in the Gulf of Guinea states, but including
like more than 10,000.
It is more than 10,000.
More than 50,000.
I'd say we're reaching around 50,000
okay.
at least.
And what percentage of the people we've trained end up participating in insurrections or coups against their own government?
Very small number, Congressman. Very small number.
So what percentage do you think?
I'd say probably less than 1%.
But it does happen.
The IMEC program is in force, and we've pushed a significant number through our schools across the.
Yeah, and what data sets do you track to arrive at the conclusion that less than 1% of the roughly 50,000 that we've trained have participated in coups? Because it'd be like about 500, about 1% of 50,000.
Congressman, you may have that information. I don't at this time, but I know.
Well, I know there are some, right? Like go ahead and throw up that image. This is Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, and this is a photo of him. Did we train and equip him in Guinea?
By name, I cannot identify that.
Well, that guy in the middle with the big red hat, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, that's him with a bunch of U.S. service members outside of our embassy. And just months after this photo was taken in 2021, he led a coup in Guinea and threw out the leader. Does that concern you?
Congressman, core values is what we start off with in IMA programs.
Do we share core values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Core values. I will repeat that. Core values. Respect for humanity.
Do we share those values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Absolutely. In our curriculum.
He led a coup.
We do.
Okay, well, that's a very telling answer. In Burkina Faso, did we share core values with the leader that we trained there who led a coup?
It's in our curriculum. We stress core values. We request civilian-led governance.
Wait, hold on. Is leading coups in our curriculum?
Absolutely not.
So
Civilian-led,
my
civilian-led.
question is, do we share core values with the coup leader in Burkina Faso who we trained?
Holistically, we teach core values with a respect for civilian governance, apolitical, and that's what sticks across a very high percentage in the over 99 percentile.
Right? But not everybody. And I wonder how many people it takes to plan a coup. I mean, initially you didn't know how many we trained and equipped. Then you said it was 1%. You had no basis for that 1% number because there's no data set you track. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. Another U.S. trained soldier stages a coup in West Africa by The Intercept.
Without objection, so ordered.
And I further seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. U.S. forces trained the Guinean colonel behind the recent coup in West African country, and this is regard to Guinea.
Without objection, so ordered.
So I guess the question is, why should U.S. taxpayers be paying to train people who then lead coups in Africa?
Congressman, our curriculum harvests core values and also to be able to embolden these countries for a representative democracy.
But General, that democracy isn't what emerges. The problem is, I know you may have great confidence in what you're teaching, but when two governments have been overthrown, I guess how many governments have to be overthrown by people we train before you sort of get the message that our core values might not be sticking with everyone? Is it 5 countries? 10?
We'll continue with our persistence in assuring
But do you think it's
that they harbor democratic norms, democratic values.
Just a moment ago, you said we shared core values with Colonel Doumbouya. You said that just moments ago in response to my question, and his core value seems to be leading a coup. So I don't think it's stuck. I think we should at least know how many countries we train the coup plotters in. How many is too many? Because clearly 2 is not too many, and I think we could use our resources far more effectively than doing this.
Challenges to democratic governance and order continue to occur across the Sahel, complicating our relations with key partners.
Africa is not merely important, it is essential. African partnerships are critical for the Department of Defense to maintain its technological edge, accomplish its geopolitical and strategic objectives, and power our futures.
March 16th, 2023, Secretary Blinken calls Niger, quote, a model of resilience, a model of democracy, a model of cooperation. 1 year and 1 day later, Dr. Wallander, the spokesperson of the Nigerian military, Colonel Amadou Amabrame, says, quote, the American presence in the territory of the Republic of Niger is illegal.
Niger's military rulers have said that the United States has agreed to pull its troops out of the West African country. In a statement on March 27th, the military rulers say the U.S. will soon submit a proposal outlining how its soldiers will disengage from Niger. Niger's Interior Minister Mohamed Toumba met with the U.S. ambassador to Niger on Wednesday to discuss the issue. The decision to disengage American troops from Niger comes almost 2 weeks after Niger's transitional government said that the more than 1,000 American soldiers are in the country illegally. According to Nigerian authorities, a 2012 agreement that facilitated the deployment of American troops to Niger was unilaterally imposed on the West African nation. The foreign soldiers are stationed in the country to help in the fight against militant insurgency. Niger now says that the American military men have failed to meet its expectations. The U.S. ambassador to Niger, Kathleen Fitzgibbon, says Washington has taken note of Niger's decision to withdraw from the Security Cooperation Agreement and promised Niger's military rulers that she would shortly come back with a plan on the method the U.S. will use to disengage its 1,000 troops from the West African nation. The U.S. has a drone base built at a cost of $100 million in Niger's central town of Agadez. Meanwhile, Niger's transitional ruler, General Abdurrahman Chiani, held a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on March 26th and agreed to strengthen military ties. Niger's affiliation to Russia also comes after the West African country in late 2023 ordered the withdrawal of 1,500 French troops from its soil. The last French soldiers left the country in December. Niger says the United States had attempted to coerce it to discontinue ties with Russia in exchange for aid, including financial and military support. The ruling junta, however, rejected Washington's demand, and that's according to a statement by the country's military spokesperson, Colonel Amadou Abdrahman.
All right, Your Majesties, we have listened to that, and like I said from the beginning, you know, America was making everybody believe that they were behind the coup in the Sahel, and that the coup is led by someone that they had trained to validate their power before the world over and over again. And to see that these three nations that they had boasted about from the beginning, that they were the ones behind this coup, are now beginning to, you know, show the world that it's not America who is behind them, it's not France who is behind them, it's not any Western country that is being, in short, nobody is behind them. They are behind their own taking over because they want the best for their nations. That was why they took over. Nobody, yes, of course, they were trained by their military, but they were never the ones behind them taking over this leadership. And it's also for a fact, we are all aware that in as much as they trained these soldiers also know their flaws, they know their weak points, they know their weakness. I think it is because of this knowledge of theirs that they were able to take over. It is also because of this knowledge that they have about the American government that they saw how destructive America is for their various countries. They saw how destructive France is for their various countries. And they did what they need to do to kick out both America and France and then get hold of that which belonged to them for the sake of their people. I'll leave you with some of this information, and then you leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, Your Majesties.
Our country has long been in a very complicated system. Most of you who are young like me, we were born into this system. But that's not what can allow Burkina to thrive. Because in this situation, there are only two cases. Either we accept to fight, or we remain slaves forever. I told you once, there are those who are slaves in their minds. They can only serve their master. And those people try every time to manipulate you. You must advise each other. Because every situation can be exploited by these enemies of the nation to try to discourage you, to demotivate you. So you must advise each other and not pay attention to certain remarks, even on some media. Not everyone is obliged to be patriotic. You are the first patriots. You have decided to defend the homeland. There is nothing better than that. Those who want to support you, let them support you. Those who want to discourage you through writings, you must close your ears and move forward. As for those, we will fight them here. So, we must remember something. Recently, there is a so-called NGO. It's not even an NGO. Because NGO stands for non-governmental organization. They are not non-governmental because they are funded by a federal budget, by a state. This so-called NGO produces reports claiming that the FDS and the VDP commit abuses. It went in here, it came out there. It's to tarnish your morale. It's to scare you, to prevent you from being able to fight. No. Moreover, we are going to file a complaint against this NGO because people need to understand something. What is happening to us here? It's true that they have manipulated part of our populations in the Sahel here, but they didn't have that kind of weaponry. What brought such significant weaponry into their ranks? It's Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It's this NGO, the same NGO that made false reports and gave them to those who wanted to create a rebellion so that people would intervene and overthrow Gaddafi. And the powder keg ended up being poured into the Sahel. These millions of lives that have been taken in the Sahel, we must file a complaint against this NGO because it is responsible for these false reports it made to support this thesis of attacking Libya. They have no moral lessons to give us. Look at the world. Let them go defend human rights all over the world first before coming here. We are fortunate to have similar situations. In this world, you voluntarily committed yourselves. There are countries where people are forcibly taken, killed. You leave or you die. Others, even while trying to flee, end up dying. They don't talk about human rights because these people see us as subhumans. They see us as slaves. That's how it is in their minds. They have never changed their mindset, but it's up to us to show them that we are not slaves and we will never accept this state of affairs. So don't be fooled by the stories. They tell to anyone who will listen. You must stay focused on your fight. Stay focused. We know what we are doing. And even now, the VTP commander told me that there is a human rights training session underway for group leaders and their deputies. If we make efforts, we know it's for ourselves. We no longer do things to please someone else. We do it for our homeland. And you are committed to that. Defend your homeland. Do not listen to those individuals. They should not affect your morale. In the history of the world, there have been wars. And during the Second World War, people organized themselves to defend all over the place. But there is a country that could not defend itself, which had to come and take our ancestors to go defend them. And today that same country wants to give us lessons. The pot calling the kettle black. No. You are the descendants of those same ancestors who went to defend others, who liberated the world from Nazism. Today you are fighting for your lands. These same individuals dare to create terms to tarnish you. We oppose this. We will never agree. Continue to defend your lands. It is your wealth that interests these people. It's our gold, it's our minerals that interest them. Otherwise, why come and drive out entire villages to seize our lands? So we will fight and we will reclaim our lands, our wealth. It belongs to us. It's for us. It will benefit us and our children. I therefore encourage you to remember that this war is to free us from slavery. It's for our independence. And you must keep your spirits high, stay strong. Never give in to manipulators, to those individuals who no longer understand the notion of homeland, or to those people who come from outside to try to subdue us through their terms they invented and their organizations they created to enslave us. Fight, move forward, do everything you can. Draw, as I said, from your cultural resources, from what you have been shaped by since the village. Draw from it and wage this war. Stay focused and stay strong.